We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from the Valley of the Sun.
Today, Jill and I talk about your contribution, how your contribution to Land Academy is not really based on how many deals you've completed.
You know what's funny? People think like, oh, I really can't weigh in on this, or I don't think you want my opinion, or no, you don't want me on the podcast yet because I've only done X, number of deals, and it might even be 40, kind of thing. But we're going to talk more about it. We want to hear about that.
Later this week, we're interviewing a career path graduate.
Who's not done a lot
alumni.
of deals?
He's done zero. He's bought a lot, and they're in the process of selling and closing on the deals, but he's still bringing a ton.
There's still some great value there.
Yeah. He's owned, there's all kinds of other great stuff. Like he's owned, you'll see on Wednesday,
And we'll talk about it in the show here.
owned a business for 30 years.
Yep.
All that experience being poured into his land career. Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free. And Jill has a good announcement for a live webinar that she's doing.
Here's what I want you to know today. It's Monday. Okay, 2 days from now, Wednesday, August 24th, 2022, 2 o'clock Pacific time, you can catch me live on Facebook and YouTube. It's going to be called Catching Up with Land Academy, and it's all about changes we've made this year in 2022 and why it's a great time to start your land investing career. So if you're not a member, or even if you are a member and you want to just show up and give me some love, you're going to want to be there. And I have a special announcement coming that day that, let's just say if you're not a member, this is for you, really for you. So I'll have some great stuff I'm giving away.
We're making constantly making improvements, but this year in particular, we've made a lot of improvements to Land Academy itself.
Yep.
Because in response to this new economic environment we're in and how we're going to buy and how we're buying property really very, very inexpensively. We always buy it inexpensively, but now's a great time to get some
2022 changes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And things we've noticed. Also, where is it again? I'm going to tell you. So Wednesday, 8/24, 2 days from now, 2 o'clock Pacific time, go to the Land Academy Facebook page or Land Academy Facebook page or YouTube channel. I have to say that right. Okay. Scott wrote, here's a question that has been bouncing around in my head for a while. If you get a purchase agreement back on a really good deal and due diligence is good, does anyone in the group have them sign a different contract with a deposit or to make the contract ironclad? Or does everyone just move forward with the purchase agreement, which has no consideration included, so it's unenforceable and they can bail if they get a better one? I'm going to argue that even if you do some money down, it's still unenforceable and they can bail because that has happened. So I move forward with a standard agreement. That's what we do.
This is somewhat of a real estate agent driven situation, because when you put a down payment down through and you use the licensed real estate agent contract and you back out of the deal, you don't get your money back. In some states. Not all states.
Realistically, people will come up with a reason. And, it's talks that goes into being a good person and doing the right thing too.
Yeah.
So, but I guess for me, the big picture is, do I do the real estate? Now I have to get a different contract and submit this for title agents or whatever it is and change it up in some ways. And no, you don't have to.
Right.
Just move on forward.
Today's topic, how your contribution to Land Academy is not necessarily based on how many deals you've completed. This is the meat of the show. So we have a person who reaches out on our staff, reaches out to Land Academy members and asks them to be guests on this show.
Now, not just every member, by the way. It's people that we pick. So I want you to know that if you've been on the show, you're hand selected.
You're special. So yes. That's what you'll say.
Not short bus special, but you're special.
And so and he said that there's a huge number of people that say, what can I possibly talk about on the podcast as a guest, because I haven't, I've only done 50 deals, or I've only done 30 deals, or I've only done, in a lot of cases, several hundred deals. I just don't have enough experience. So I don't necessarily think that all you're going to bring to the table is your deal experience.
Right.
If you've been in a relationship with somebody for more than 5 years, we'll talk about that.
I think business experience, life experience, there's all kinds of other things that Stephen's alluding to that you bring to the table. And I want to make sure too, for those of you communicating online in landinvestors.com and in Discord, we want your contributions, and sometimes it's even better. Here's the thing too. We wanted two parts for me is sometimes it's even better when you're a little bit removed, you haven't been head down in this for 3 years and, come up for air. Because sometimes people who come into this new have fresh ideas and, hey, why have we not looked at it this way? And you might help us all. Like when I was starting my company, I set up this way, fill in the blank, and we could all go, wow, that makes so much sense. We should do that. The other thing is, I want to hear, and I think the planet wants to hear about your learning process as you're going through it. There's so much value that we can gain from that. So
it's really bringing personality is what this is. Even if you're brand new and you have a ton of questions about, hey, I'm brand new, I've never done this before. Here's my experience or my W-2 job. I've got a couple of kids. I've only got this amount of time on Saturday morning. Jeez. What's the best, asking those questions, I think it's very, very helpful. I like to say, wherever you are in your career, someone is 6 months ahead of you. And then there's someone 6 months behind you. And so you can really help the person that's behind you and seek out help from the person that's 6 months ahead of you. We happen to be, 30 years ahead of most people. And so I'd like to think that we bring some experience to the table. Maybe not. Maybe what you get out of this whole thing is, I'm not going to do it like those guys.
Or maybe we're old and crusty, and you need to get on a show with us and
complain about it.
And just say, you're old and crusty.
Every time we have a live event full of people, which I think we're going to have next year sometime, there's always somebody in the room that says, yeah, so you are doing this all wrong, Jack, in Excel.
This is true.
You don't really know Excel.
Actually, this is funny. And that's 100% true. Because, it's so funny because they hesitate to raise their hand like, can I help you with that, please?
Do you ever stand behind somebody while they're on a computer and just sit there and wait because they're so slow?
Oh, that happens. It happens like both ways. Yeah. I get it. Totally get it. Hey, happy you could join us today. 5 days a week. You can find us here on the Land Academy Show.
Tomorrow, the episode on the Land Academy Show is called Re-Entering the Workforce with Land Academy. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
We have many people that have done this or use this as a tool to get back and just bring in some money. So maybe you're not they're not using it as a stepping stone, now I'm going to go get an office job, because that's not it. But just I haven't been doing anything, and I need to get back into putting food on the table, providing. And
I love when people come to us. We have a lot of lifelong career salespeople in Land Academy, and I love when they come to us with stories about, oh yeah, when I was with XYZ company selling for them, that we did this whole thing and it really worked, and maybe I'm trying it with talking to sellers and it's working out great. So I just wanted to make you aware of it. I don't care if you've ever done a real estate deal or not. That's incredibly useful, and thinking out of the box, great information for all of us, for Jill and I, and for everybody in Land Academy. So, I'm sure no matter who you are, you have something to bring to the table. I'm sure of it.
Totally. Thank you for tuning in. And by the way, I'm sure you know this, but we recently released, in 2022 released, a few months ago, our latest and greatest and newest all-inclusive product called Land Academy 3.0, Catching Up with Land Academy. It's all the changes and things that we've done for 2022. Hey, if we're doing our business a little bit differently, so should you. You want to find out more? Just send a note to support@landacademy.com. We are Jack and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.